Hey consumers, it's Teeth. This is just a real quick video. I just wanted to talk about a couple of revelations I've been having recently. So this all sort of came to me while I was doing a bit of OC art, as you might say, something that I rarely tend to do now. I was drawing my goth era character, Pandora. Now viewer, don't be fooled. Even if it doesn't look like it right away, for all intents and purposes, this is bad art. There's a lot of things wrong with it. The line art is really messy, the coloring is sloppy, it's missing a lot of good anatomy, construction, and some parts are like asymmetrical. Just flip it over. Just like me, it's all lopsided, right? This has a lot of problems with it. And what I wanted to talk about today real quickly is that that's a really good thing. That's really important. One of the things that was highlighted to me in the last interview I did, which you should totally check out, is that it's okay to make bad art. You're gonna get frustrated with a lot of the things you're working on, especially as you're working on it. And that's a totally normal thing. You shouldn't be worried about that. But it can become a problem if it's stopping you from actually making work. If you're anything like me, which if you're receiving this signal, you're probably more like me than you think, then you probably get bogged out in your own perfectionism. You want to make cool things and have all these cool ideas, but if you're not making anything at all, then what's the point? The big key aspect that we're just not getting right now is that we're never going to be at that level of doing those crazy, amazing things unless we're making the bad things first. How do you mentally have the capacity to make bad work? Well, you just gotta find the value in it. Going back over this drawing again, for all intents and purposes, it is bad art. I've accepted it as bad art. It doesn't look like the best thing I made, and there's a lot of things wrong with it that I usually try to avoid when I make stuff. But that doesn't make it useless. There's a lot of important things about this art that I like about it. I mean, starting off, I drew my OC. For someone who's had a character for like, oh man, I don't even want to think about how long it's been. At least over 10, maybe 15 years, something like that. I rarely draw this character anymore, and that's a huge problem. I'm trying to come back to that a little bit, and the fact that I actually pulled through and did it is worth it on its own. I mean, in general, I don't even do a lot of colored art as it is. I'm constantly spamming out simple little sketches and half-baked ideas. I actually pulled through this thing. I colored it. That's awesome. Clothing studies are always good. And I even practiced a rim light tutorial that I found on TikTok. Thanks, TikTok. You're not totally useless to me. But we're missing the big key aspect. The big, most principal part of this drawing that pulls its value beyond any learning experience. It looks cool. The value in the art is that it looks cool. Why does everything you have to make have to be skilled and impressive and do all these things, right? Are you not allowed to sit in your comfort zone? Are you not allowed to do things that you like? I practiced some things. I learned some things. This character has been bogging me out for weeks on end despite owning her for like 20 years. Okay, 20 might be cutting it. I'm not that old. Because I can't even figure out how to do her head shape. So what I do, I did some studies to figure out her head. Where's that sketchbook? Enough naked girls. Where's the good drawings? Check this out. Oh, look at that. Head study attempt practice this thing. Drawn from imagination. Except for that, that's not from imagination. Don't worry about that right now. But check it out. Are these heads consistently drawn? No, but they're experiments. They're attempts. They're focused on trying to do something that I was struggling with before. That's amazing. You gotta find that for yourself. You have to find the value in what you do. It doesn't matter if it doesn't look good. There's a value in it and you gotta find it. And that's what makes you do it. That's where it's at. That's the meat. Even like this video, right? I'm kind of pushing this thing out spontaneously. The key isn't to make everything a banger. The key is to make. And some things are just gonna bang. Overall, I'm through. Overall, I'm through with caring. So that's my plan right now. That's the direction I'm moving in. I'm through with caring. We're just gonna make things and we're gonna succeed and we're gonna force it. We're gonna meld reality until it's the thing I need it to be. I have some ideas coming up. And those ideas might take some time, and some of those ideas are bigger than others. But a lot of those ideas that are super simple and easy, you haven't seen yet because I keep putting it off. So we're going to find some way to mitigate the process. This is a spontaneous video made of a spontaneous drawing with very spontaneous planning. It is, for all intents and purposes, the bottom of the barrel. And I'm gonna do it because I'm not doing anything at all, which just so happens to be lower than the expectation. My goal right now is just to create. I'm not worried about the quality. I'm not worried about everything meeting a certain margin or being this colorful new idea that nobody's ever heard before. Be real with me for a second. Think of like the last 5 art inspiration videos you watched. They were all kind of saying the same thing, weren't they? And I am right now too. You've heard this before. You may not remember it, but everything you've heard it before. You have nothing to gain, and I do. So this is how we're gonna do this. This plan, this total self-prioritization of content, bending the algorithm to what I want, is going to be my gamble to you, dear consumer. Realistically speaking, why should you listen to me? Especially when I have like 4 subscribers, right? So this will be my gamble to you. I'm gonna use whatever I have available in terms of effort to post consistently, which is at its very worst, once a week. It's not going to be super like insanely repetitive. I don't want to make sludge content, so I'm still going to have some intent behind everything I do, but I'm going to try and experiment and find that sweet spot between things that I like and things that I want to deliver, but then also doing it consistently enough that every project doesn't have like a million steps to it, right? Posting this in late September of 2024, these are currently my stats for some of my used and some of my neglected social media accounts. This is on and off overall like 6 years of progress, not making stuff consistently. This is 6 years of perfectionism at play, 6 years of stagnation. And I'm gonna try and move towards these things, these goals. Maybe it'll take another 6 years, but that's my gamble to you, that I'm gonna reach these things. And if I do, that's proof that I'm right. Because one of the things I hate, okay, right? I've tried making videos before where it's like, I'm gonna talk about what you need to be inspired and to get out of your art block and stuff like that. But the problem that I have with all these videos, the thousands and thousands of them that exist, is like, it's so easy to say this is how you resolve this issue, but it doesn't really take anyone out of that mindset. It's all about self-application, baby. You can lead an artist to water, but you can't make them and change their entire psychological perspective about their hobbies and interests and passions. I can't make you believe me. I'm not that close to you yet. I will be, but we're not there yet. If I do this, if I apply myself, and I actually do apply myself, right? If I don't totally fail, which is my part of the gamble that I actually have to do this thing, then you'll see if there's any success to it. And we'll check back in and we'll see how these things go. You haven't gotten rid of me yet. I sympathize for all of the art friends and mutuals that I'm going to be subjecting to this chaos. But hey, this is how we're going to get results. This is how we're going to experiment, and this is how we're going to learn new things, right? I got a bunch of things coming around. I'm going to shift my headspace so they actually come around, and some of them are pretty neat ideas. Don't worry, it's not going to be sludge content. Things aren't going to get that bad. I mean, realistically, it could be worse. I could be an art drama channel.